Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast and Videocast. I got it right this time. No more excuses. I am your host, Sandy Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. Thanks for being here, for listening, for sharing this podcast with others, and for connecting with me. Thanks to John C. Payne for reaching out and listening to me and letting me know he listens to me. So I look forward to hearing from those of you who have not connected with me. Make sure if you are, because I've had some new followers and people connecting with me on my business Facebook page or LinkedIn, anywhere like that. But I'm not sure if you're a podcast listener or not. So message me, let me know. I'd love to give you a shout out and say thank you. So, oh gosh, it's a crazy time of the year, right? Getting ready for the holidays, getting ready for the end of the year, and just getting ready for what's new, what's coming next year. And one of the things I talk about with a lot of my clients is not being too busy for your business, right? Are you? Are you too busy for your business? And that doesn't mean getting into the holidays and with life stuff getting in the way. It's at the end of the day, has anyone ever asked you, hey, what'd you do today? Maybe your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, best friend, dog, cat, I don't know. Has anyone asked you, hey, how was your day? What'd you do today? And you're like, stuff. I've done it. I literally have done it when the man candy has said, how was your day? What did you do today? And I will say stuff. And that's when I know I am too busy for my business. I am busy. I'm not productive. And it could just be even at the end of the day, you're like, wow, it's the end of the day already. I did stuff, but I'm not sure really what I did. That's when we know, again, that we're too busy for our business, right? And we need to make sure we're being productive. And I talk about this a lot. Yes, I'm constantly on my soapboxes and practicing what I preach, because this helps me practice what I preach as well. Looking to see if you're productive or are you busy. So busy will mean that you're doing things that aren't necessarily a good use of your time, which I talked about that a lot, right? And looking at how can you fix it? Well, prioritizing your to-do list, starting with the to-do list, because I know there's some of you that still don't write down your to-do list, and mine's right here. Oh, that's actually the client notes. Mine's right here. So my to-do list, and then I have my post-it note that's sitting on my desk. I'm not at my desk right now. That's literally what I have to do today, the priority things, the highest ones, the things I'm going to get done today. Or I don't know, punish yourself. You do whatever you need to do. I tend to not allow myself to play words with friends. I take away something. What do you do? It's like reward system. That motivates me. Doesn't necessarily motivate everybody. But I look at that. So my to-do list, I prioritize my to-do list and I reprioritize it every evening before I get done. Otherwise, I tend to get into that I'm too busy for my business stuff. I get into that busy work, and maybe an email will come in and I'll answer, and a text will come in, or someone played words with friends and I'll get on there, and then I'm panicking because I'm behind. We need to look at that and identify what's getting in the way. And those are the things like I just mentioned. I'm distracted. I'm allowing things to come in, and it's all us. It's, we can't ever blame outside distractions. I was on a Zoom call earlier, and so was the man candy. And someone popped on and said, hey, Sandy, can you mute your background? It's distracting me. So even having two people in the same square footage that are on Zoom meetings, Zoom calls, Teams meetings, whatever, talking can be distracting. And, it was distracting for me as well, but I was doing my best to stay focused. But what is distracting you? What are you allowing? So now I came down and recorded this in another cool space because it's actually windy and rainy here in California, in sunny California. So I'm inside with a sweater on, but it's kind of a cool background. So I removed myself after that one call to come down and record this for you. So looking at what you can do, taking that extra few minutes is not necessarily a great use of my time, but it's going to be better for you because you're not going to have to listen to him on calls in the background. although you can probably hear the TV out in the other room. You know, you've got to, talking about being too busy for your business, making sure that you're productive, not busy. You know, you can't be too busy for your life as well. Yes. Again, allowing those distractions to come in, and with the holidays coming up, looking at what are you going to do? What are you realistically going to be able to do? Because it just depends on what you do for a living, how you celebrate. If you have kids, don't have kids, what's the weather like, all that stuff. You have to take that into consideration and be realistic about what you can do. I know we're talking about finishing the year strong. So, how can you be more productive and finish the year strong and still enjoy life in the holidays? Magical question, right? And I wish I had a magical answer, but there is no magic pill. It's book number 3, the magic pill. You've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the time. And if you want to finish strong, you will learn to be productive and not just busy. So I'm going to really, really challenge you this week to take a look at what's going on in your world. What are you allowing? What are you not doing? So what are you avoiding? And it kind of goes back to those recurring actions that I talked about that should become habits. And maybe those recurring actions are really something that's going to help you get through the end of the year. It's going to be their actions focused on one specific goal, not necessarily habits you have for a lifetime, like working out or eating healthy, or I don't know, whatever that you need to be able to live. But, what are you needing to do? Whatever you're doing, do you need to make those sales calls? Do you need to make sure you're doing those follow-up calls, emails, client meetings? I've met a woman out here in California who, because of COVID, hadn't traveled much for work, but she knew she was going to have to start. And so that's part of it. She just knows, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my travel for a couple weeks, then come back, and then she can do some Zoom meetings, because there is that time where now people do want that face to face. They do want that human interaction. They do want you to be in their office or in their space and not just virtually. So, there's good and bad with all of that. And, she's learning to get back into that groove again. And that is helping her, even though it's more time, because there's time on the road, there's time in airports. It's helping her re-strengthen those connections. And guess what? Her sales have increased. And right now it's more of a retention for the next year. She's in the insurance world. So right now it's really retention and preparing for the next year. So that has really helped her, because the last couple of years, people have had to back off and stay home and do video calls, however you do them. But so thinking about that, so that's a good thing for her. It was a great realization for her. And it's turning out very well. And so she'll get those done, and those in-person meetings before the end of the year. And then another one of my clients said he had the same thing. He's like, okay, I've got 3 more trips planned, and then I'm done for the year. And many of them are to like the Northeast or colder areas, Colorado, Maryland, things like that. So you have to plan those properly. Not everybody is afraid to travel in the winter, but it just makes more sense, especially depending on what you do, whether you need to be in person or not. Yes, the virtual world saves a lot of things. You can have the sniffles and get on a call versus going to someone's office and freaking them out because you have the sniffles, or just sick, or just not 100%. Looking at how the virtual world has saved us a lot of time to be productive, not just busy, but looking at what do you really, really, really need to do to finish the year strong. How can you be more productive? I just had a great meeting with a committee this morning about that same thing. And we're going to do a strategy session in a couple weeks and look at how can we be more efficient and productive next year? How can we elevate the group to help others and do a better job? Some of us are spread all over the United States now, whereas before we were all in Indianapolis. And looking at how is that going to affect things? How has it? And what can we do to rebuild and reconnect and make the group stronger, like I said, for the members. So looking at what do you need to do? What does your time frame look like? Do you need to put in a few extra hours? Do you need some more me time? Like my client a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago now, where he needed to take a few days off, and he did, to get his mind right, because he just was so overwhelmed with everything, and he was pissing his clients off instead of making them happy. And so by taking that little bit of time off, giving himself that mental break, he was able to come back and say, okay, prioritize. Here's my list. Boom, boom, boom. Here's what I need to do. And just knocking it out of the park. Because he's not going to finish getting paid for projects if the work's not complete or to their satisfaction. So looking at all of that. So what are you going to do to dig deeper, be more productive, and not allow life to get in the way too much? Because I want us all to have a great holiday season. I want us all to smile at the end of the year and say, hell yes, look at what I did. This is the amazing shit I did. This is the amazing badass shit that I did. And be happy with it versus saying, there's always next year. None of that. All right. So I look forward to hearing from you. Make sure you check out my website, badassbusiness.coach. Email me, sandy@sandyballard.com. Direct message me, find me. You can. I'm everywhere, right? And let me know how you're going to be more productive. What have you noticed in the way of your habits or your recurring actions? Or if you can't figure that out, let me know. I do free 30-minute calls for any new person out there. And to just talk through what's going on. And, maybe we come up with a quick solution. That's it. And maybe we end up working together for a long time. I don't know. It's up to you. But I want to help you make sure you're going to finish the year strong, no matter what you do. All right? Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. And let's make sure we're not too busy for our business. Right? Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.